Yo, what's up, John? So I wanted to address something. A lot of people on the internet talk about self-improvement journeys and things like that, but they never really tell you about like what a realistic self-improvement timeline looks like. So what tends to happen, right? And I want to tell you this, and I think this will be valuable. Why should you listen? Is because like you won't be set with a false expectation of thinking that these YouTubers are always on their hustle culture grind type shit. You know what I mean? Like maybe they are now because they've improved so many aspects of their life and facets of their life that, when you look at them, you're like, whoa, there's a big difference between me and this person because they're just like insanely productive. But I assure you, throughout the journey, they weren't that way. And I'm not trying to say this to like just shit on these people. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like this is a realistic expectation you should have. This is the realistic thinking, like method of thinking you should have when it comes to self improvement, because a lot of people get demoralized thinking they can't do it because they have this idea in their head that people on self improvement are just like always kicking it and always going crazy, but they aren't. I'll start with myself first. I don't think I've gone to the gym for like almost a month. And the reason for that is like I'm in Pakistan and sometimes my uncle goes, sometimes my cousin goes, and sometimes they go at different times where I can't go because I'm doing this work, or I'm just somewhere else at some gathering because I don't come here very often in 4 years. And I'll admit that because why? I'm trying to spend time with as many people as I can, and sometimes as much as I can, go to the gym as much as I possibly can. And if I can't, I'll hit push-ups here and there if I'm feeling sluggish. Like I think that's partly why I'm feeling sort of kind of sick right now. I haven't been doing that, and so yeah, there's gonna be months where you're not able to do the things you want to because you literally cannot go, or there might be a mental barrier that you're trying to push through. Now, I'm not saying that this should be an excuse for you to just be like, oh, okay, let me just like lay back on self improvement. No, it's like the mindset that I think you should have is do as much as you can and think long term. What is a schedule that you can do consistently for a long period of time and you could keep going with it, right? And that's what's going to serve you in the long term. And you slowly, progressively overload. You don't want to progressively overload immediately. You don't go to the gym and put on 5 pounds and then immediately go to 400, right? You slowly go from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20, and so on and so forth. So you want to slowly progressive overload because then you just drop everything. And do you know how you know you're going to get to that point? And the thing I'm talking about, like getting to that point, I mean like dropping everything on self improvement and just dropping it. Period. Like giving up, right? Do you know how you know you're about to get to that point? Is if you start losing like the present moment of doing everything that you're doing on self improvement. If you can't meditate without thinking it's like a chore, or going to the gym without thinking it's a chore, then likelihood is you're probably going to quit. And that's happened to me several times. I've quit for periods of weeks, periods of months. And if that makes me like a fake self-improvement YouTuber, so be it, bro. Like, I think I'm human. Sometimes I do deserve, sometimes I have the reasons as to why. Sometimes I have excuses, and throughout your self-improvement journey, you'll learn to banish your excuses and get rid of them and realize that they're excuses. And then throughout your self-improvement journey, you'll realize that sometimes there's a reason. Like for me, for example, if I could go to the gym right now, I would. I literally would. But I can't go alone because, there's a chance I'll get robbed here. It's not very safe. It's like Detroit, but a little probably worse, actually. And so there's a lot of reasons not to go out here for me. I also don't know my way to the gym, so I only go if my uncle or my cousin is going. And yeah, and so sometimes I'm going to have reasons, sometimes I'm going to have excuses, and you just got to learn to like separate the two. And there'll be things that are easy for you to do and hard for you to do. That sounds very generic. Let me explain, right? So for me on my self-improvement journey, going to the gym is very easy. Like I know I've quit for a while, right? But when I go back to the US, it's going to be like I never left. Like I'm just going to go at it 5 times a day like I usually do, or whatever my routine demands. For a lot of you, that's like, holy, how does he do that? For you, something else might be easier, like deep work, and I'm sitting here like, how do you do that? Like, because I struggle to do that a lot, and I give myself excuses. Even now, like, I know I could be doing some deep work that I haven't done for a while, but I keep giving myself like the vague and foggy excuse that keeps me from kind of doing it. And so my mind's always trying to find a way out. But basically, yeah, I'm just saying that this is what a realistic self-improvement timeline looks like. You're going to go through periods where you're extremely on that shit. You're like on it, on top of it. But then you progressively overload too much. And you want to think about it like this. When you're progressively overloading and you finally get to a point where you can't lift the weight and it's just sitting on you, right? That's what kind of a self-improvement journey looks like. You think that these self-improvement YouTubers, when you look at them, right, that when they're benching, they're going 5, 15, 20, 25 pounds, and they just keep lifting, and they're going crazy. They're like skyrocketing in weight. But what actually happens is they get to 80 pounds, they fail for a little bit, and they can't lift that weight anymore. And it's just sitting on their chest, okay? And those are going to be like the small periods of like hiatus that you take from the gym or meditation or things like that. And you're either going to have like a mental kind of blockade or like a maybe physical burnout, but it's usually mental burnout, I would say. And then you kind of tell yourself things or go through maybe different environments or try to experience different things or put yourself in different mindsets or try different routines to get yourself to do that thing a lot easier. And so now you're back into the gym lifting 80 pounds with ease because what have you done? You fixed your form. You've added maybe protein powder or like creatine to your regimen. So now it's easier. Now you're climbing again. And then you plateau again at like 135 pounds. And that's the same thing in your self-improvement journey. You plateau again, and maybe you're keeping consistent with your habits, and, you're going at it for a few more months now, but for another month now you've dropped one habit that you used to do, or maybe you're just still doing the same habits that you've also done, and you can't progressively overload. That's what a self-improvement journey looks like, and that's just how it's going to be. And the thing is, most people give up because they think they can't do it within a set time period. But what a lot of self-improvement YouTubers will convince you of is you're doing this for like a 30-day challenge. You're not doing this for a 30-day challenge. It's just like a lifestyle, bro. Like that's my vision, at least. That's the way I see it. And you should always be striving to improve, because now that we're in the era of convenience, we've almost become a lot more lazy. And if you compare us to like some of our ancestors back then, we'd stand no chance against them, even though maybe their intelligence might not have been as up there, or they might have not have as many resources as we do in the modern day. So it's just kind of crazy to me to think about that. I'm like, we have more resources, but we're more ill. We have more mental health issues than ever. It's it's crazy. But yeah, anyway, I digress. As I was saying, your journey is gonna have a lot of ups and downs. That's what a real journey looks like. It's not just you going crazy, and you progressive overload and you're going crazy. Of course you want to keep the positive mindset of thinking that you will go that far and things like that, but you are human and there will be times you fail. Okay? And I don't want to put that in your minds. I didn't want to make this video solely because I feel like I could make that a mindset for you, or I could make that a complacency mindset for you specifically. You might just be like, oh, I'm only human, I can't do this. I don't want to do that. What I'm saying is that you're going to have your pitfalls, but you need to still keep more of a positive mindset rather than giving yourself excuses all the time, okay? This is not a video where I'm telling you, you could take your foot off the accelerator. I'm telling you to be smarter about it. And so you can keep progressive overloading at a good pace rather than having to dip down. And once you dip down, it's you might start using excuses as a way to get out of certain habits or things like that. And then it's just downhill from there. So Yeah, I've talked about that in my progressive overload videos too. Like, you need to progressive overload slowly, and sometimes you're just gonna have your pitfalls and your weaknesses within your self improvement journey. That's just how it's gonna be. So be patient with it, man. Like, I don't think this is something that you needed to be taught. Anything in this video is nothing you need to be taught. It's more of a reminder, and you've probably heard it, but that's why you need to hear it again, just so it's reinforced. Like, it's going to take time. It's going to take maybe months or years before you're improving on a certain skill or on a certain thing. So but that should also make you happy, because then you realize your competition might not keep up as much as you, or stay as consistent as you have. So, you could frame your mind to think of it that way, and then that might also help you keep consistent. So, yeah, man, it's just a time game. You just got to keep at it. You're going to have your pitfalls, and you're going to learn to get around them as long as you put in the effort too. I think if you're listening to this, you'll probably be fine though. So, yeah, that's what I think. By the way, don't mind me. I just feel a little sick. I'm not like depressed or anything weird like that. Or I just, my stomach's feeling a little bit like shit. Probably ate something bad, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Peace. Take it easy.